All right, welcome back, scrappers. We have a couple of breakers here. And I gotta say thanks to my electrician friends. That's pretty nice of you guys. It's 200 amp, 4 200 amp, and 1 500 amp switches that we are gonna see what's inside of them. So, let's give me a couple of days and we'll tear into them. It's getting ready to rain. I'm just gonna load them into the workshop and try and see how I'm gonna tear these things apart. But wish me luck. So we are going to start tearing into these. I'm going to try and remove the cover plate where they attach to the bus bar, and then we will see where to go from there. So this is what we're going to have. We're going to do stop action and videotape it when we get closer to getting inside the guts. So we removed the 5/16 inch screws that were bolts that were holding in the brackets that attached the switch to the bus bar. And now we are removing the 3/8 bolts that hold the plastic piece. And so that's what I'm doing. We'll be pulling these out and taking this off and then seeing how we can get into the switch. So here we go. We're removing these screws there, so we've got a nice little pile of bolts, screws, 3/8, 5/16. And here's my handy dandy chuck key from way back during the day, circa 1990 something. Still having trouble with this one. So, man, I gotta tell you, all that work for this little bit right here. There's some silver plate. I'll probably desolder these, heat them up to get the impurities off, and then run them through the silver sill. So, man, it's disappointing how little that is. This I'll test for silver with some nitric acid and put a little drop on that. This has been my experience, silver plated, so we'll put that over there in the silver plate junk pile. But that's what we have. I've spent, I don't know, about 30 minutes tearing into this thing. And so that's where we're at so far. Got a little bit of cleaning up to do here. So we're going to, with the magic of YouTube, clean it up and then get back at it. So basically I just popped that off and got to the screws here to pull that off. I'll break this loose, but this is the silver plate right here. And I'll strip that with some sulfuric acid and nitric. And then we'll go from there, So we'll pull these screws out here, and then we'll pull this out to get to that and get to those small contacts. It's a 250 amp breaker. All right, it's starting to warm up. I'm out here in the workshop sorting through some of this silver plated stuff. I want to put that on some copper wire and dip it in sulfuric acid and nitric while we're outside working. Might as well start attacking this stuff too, right? So I'm going to wire this up and then we'll start working on it. All right, so I have added a copper wire so we can pull that out of that nitric and sulfuric acid solution for stripping the silver, and we're going to see how that works. So I'm going to go put that in, and then that's it. And I just want to show you how beautiful that looks to me. I think that looks pretty cool. So that's sulfuric acid. We're going to add a little bit of nitric to it. And we're going to let that sit. I'll probably have to cover that. So it's Let's do this real quick. I know I'm busted. I didn't wear gloves on that, but I was really extremely careful. So I'm gonna get a glass and we're gonna cover that up. You can see it's starting to react. Oh, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just sit here and watch it react for a couple minutes. I'll come back in a couple of minutes. It's probably like watching paint dry. It's fascinating to me. So there are little tiny bubbles forming. I don't know if you guys can see that right there. You see it? It's kind of in the middle. And I'll come back in a couple of minutes when it's more vigorous. And this is the other reaction we got going from the copper cell, excuse me. So I just want to show you that edge there. That's been in there for, I don't know, maybe around 5 minutes, maybe a little less. But it's certainly working pretty well. I really do like nitric and sulfuric acid to remove silver plate. And the copper cell's not bad. And I gotta tell you, there's a lot of people saying, why don't you use a water cell? Water cell, it gets cloudy, it gets contaminated, it takes like 5 minutes for each piece. And man, I just don't have that kind of time where I could knock it out faster, big batch faster than sitting around watching each piece for 5 to 10 minutes, and it's still messy and not get all the silver. So to me, it's a waste of time or not an efficient use of time. And that's how I feel about that. But I don't want to get on the soapbox. Different strokes, different folks. So this is it for silver plating. And I have these ready to go next. And I'm a little worried about these. This looks like it's actually got a little rust on it. So I don't know if that's iron on that. I feel like I should cut that out, or I might even just dunk them in there to use up any of that nitric. So we'll see how that goes. I believe I got that too hot. I'm gonna put a thermometer on that in just a second. All right, so the radio's in the background. I don't know if I'm gonna get a copyright strike on that. That's Talking Heads. It's kind of one of my favorite bands, but let's get back to chemistry. Man, you guys see that attacking the silver like as we're looking at it? I wanted to share that again, kind of give you my view of it. I'll come back a couple of minutes, but look how it's working from the top down on that first piece. We'll come back in 10 minutes, all right? So it's one more batch I've got to run through. These still have contacts on it, but what I'll do is remove the plate first and see if this is actually plated or what, and then unsweat those. These 3 here have that bolt on it. You just see it's kind of, I don't know if I can zoom in on that. See, that looks kind of like rust right there. Right there. So I'm gonna put that in with that copper cell just to use it up. I know I skew the results just a little bit, but we're talking milligrams probably. And then so we'll strip that and probably leave that overnight. I'm running out of daylight here, and I think I'm just gonna let it go cold reaction. So we'll take a peek at it in the morning. Man, I have some great electrician friends. I do have to say, shout out to those guys. I don't want to name any names because, everyone tries to jam you up. But this was a 4/0 or 3/0, and I stripped it one time, and I've been using it I just peel off a piece when I need it. And then it's so nice not having to strip 12/2 or 12/3 to get the copper wire, man. I love it. Anyway, that's a public service announcement to my electrician friends. Thanks, guys. All right, it's been 10 minutes. I'm gonna leave just that little bit on there to get that edge, but that's not bad, man. What do you think, guys? It works pretty well to me. I really do like this method. So what I decided to do was add that remnant from the copper cell in there, and we'll just use up the nitric, and then I'll dip it in my wash tank right there. It's already cemented some stuff out. And here we are, we're completely done. So I'm gonna put another batch in there. I'm just gonna take this straight from here and dip it in there, and then we'll dry it off. And you see that's what happened to the last batch that was in there. So we'll take a look at it later. All right, so I cheated a little. I had 2 batches from here. I kind of want to speed this up. Let's see how that works. We're going to come back in 10 minutes and check it out. I'm adding just a little bit of heat to it. I'll get a thermometer and we'll get scientific, I promise. But you can see the reaction's starting to speed up. I don't have much daylight. I'd like to get one more batch in. Maybe I could lay something on top of it. But it's an example of how well that works, man. Really do like this sulfuric acid and nitric stripping solution. To me, it works well. I just want to show you that how it's consuming, how it's going up like that. Silver is starting to fall out. So a little disappointing on the use of the nitric, but I guess that comes with more experience, you know. Got a little heavy-handed on it rushing, but that silver's starting to come out. We're going to cover it. I'm going to bend that copper wire. We'll come back to this in a little while. You can see the nitric acid that's still in solution there. See that orange cloud? Man, I should have probably soaked some contacts or something in that. But that, look at that silver sponge, man. I gotta tell you, so far there's been more and those silver contacts from the breakers and that kind of stuff that I ran than that silver plated bus bar stuff. And man, look at the quality of that. See how clean that is, and those crystallization of the silver coming off. I have heard that people like to leave a little bit of nitric in there. I kind of get it, man. Look at that. It's so much better. Anyway, we'll come back to that. I just kind of want to give you a little update. It's really nice, man. It's coming out better than that silver plated stuff. I got to tell you, it's having trouble filtering it. It's just been a disaster. I did a little test batch, and so far I haven't recovered nearly as much as this. It's been a couple of seconds, I know. I just want to show you that. It's going to slough off there in a second. So it's a lot of silver come off the contacts. I got to tell you, it's a lot more on the contacts than that bus bar. Kind of hoping to get the mother load on those bus bars, but I kind of feel like that wasn't worth it, you know? All the time involved in it. But we'll see. It always, I tell you, it's fluffy and it always looks like a lot, but then when you weigh it out, it never is. All right, we're out here at the woodshed. We're cementing out. That right there is from the silver plated breaker part. And this is, I'm cementing out some of the liquid I'd filtered from the bus bars. Now there's some still trapped in the filters, and I feel like I might have to process that again. But that really looks good there. That's my favorite so far. That cement silver looks good too. Not seeing a lot cementing out there, but we're still getting some. And I'll give you a close up there. Man, that looks good. All right, we are going to start wrapping this up here. This is the silver from the breakers that we had recovered, and this is the silver from the bus bar that I'm finally getting around to finishing. It's been a little problematic, but we're going to finish it up. So I want to pour that off, I want to filter it, and then we're going to start cleaning it up. I did this one off camera because the last 2 days I came home, my phone was dead, and I just went ahead. Okay, so basically what I did was I cemented out the values for the breakers. I rinsed it, and then there you are. We're going to dry it and get a weight, and I'm going to do the same thing with this, so stick with me. So we're drying this out, and we will have a weight on it shortly. There's still a little bit of moisture on the side of the beaker, and we're definitely getting there. So bear with me. We'll dry it out and get a weight. This is from the silver from the breakers. Now, it wasn't all the breaker pieces, but, you know, just kind of run an experiment, see what we get. I feel like so far, just with the cementation, that we've got more silver out of the breakers than we got out of the silver plate. All right, let's get some conclusion on one of these. Now this is the silver from the breakers. It wasn't all pieces of the breakers, but it was most of it. I still haven't gone after the contacts on it. So we'll add up the copper weight and add up, divide by the silver weight and get the percentage. But I gotta tell you, this was more than the plated bus bar. But man, it's kind of dismal, I'm not gonna lie. So here we go. All right, it's still a little warm. Got just a little bit in there, man. I'm not gonna worry about those micrograms. So looks like we had about 12 grams of silver there. I have to subtract, man. I didn't tear it out, goodness gracious. But you know, and I gotta look, it looks a little dirty to me. This is what I had from my rinse water from the silver cell, man. There's a lot more silver in that than this right here. So I don't know what to do with this yet. I feel like maybe melt it into a little button. And then, you know, obviously we're still waiting on that, but that's kind of sad looking. Well, we'll finish up soon. I've got to make a video this week. I want to apologize to everyone. I've been busy with work. We had a chiller go down. We actually have 2 at this lab, and we've been trying to get them temporary chilling. And just, you know, been a busy week.